Good afternoon. Welcome to our live webinar. Today's topic, urgent child contact and guardianship consent issues. Okay, that's a mouthful. Nonetheless, we'll try to unpack it, and hopefully at the end of the webinar we'll all be much more wiser. Please feel free to share this video and interact with me via Facebook Live, or make use of those icons below. Question number one, or the title of the first question, is I have been in diffuse contact with my daughter. My daughter is 4 years old. I was present at the birth and paid for it, I presume. I saw her every weekend until when she turned 3. Then after that, access was only when the mother allowed. The mother is an alcoholic and just wants money. What can I do to have regular contact? I also want custody in the future. Okay, so we're dealing with a lot of issues here. The parties were together, the father was at the birth, the child was born, he had contact until the last year. Since then, contact was sporadic whenever the mother says he may have contact. There could be various reasons for that, I do not know, it's not stated. But at this specific point, he wants to know what can he do to have regular contact with the minor child. So the law is quite easy. If the parties cannot agree on care and contact rights, unfortunately, the law needs to get on board. The father would have to try to resolve this matter with the mother via some type of mediation. In terms of Section 33 of the Children's Act, it says specifically, if the parties cannot agree on these specific aspects of contact, care, and so on, parental rights and responsibilities, they should try to resolve this matter out of court first with mediation and so on. So my advice to the father is clearly, firstly, try to resolve this matter with the mother out of court. Go to an organization that deals with mediation, and we can Google that. Google mediation, child custody issues, social worker. There are many organizations that can do that. I do not want to mention any names live now. That could be dealt with in a different video. And ask them, please contact the mother and ask the mother whether or not she's willing to engage in a mediation session. And ultimately, if that works, wonderful, there's no need to go to court. You could potentially go to court to make this parenting plan an order of the court, so that there can be no issues in the future. But nonetheless, that would be the first step. Try to resolve this matter out of court, or maybe possibly send an attorney's letter first. If that cannot be resolved, if you're seeing we're getting nowhere, or the mother does not want to come to the table, she does not agree upon the mediation, she ignores your attorney's letter, whatever preliminary steps you have followed, then unfortunately you would have to go to court, the High Court, the Children's Court, as the case may be, and they would obviously be called upon to assist you. Ultimately, the law is simple, very simple. It says that in all matters concerning the child's best interest is of paramount importance. So it's child-centered focus. We focus on we focus on what is in the minor child's best interest. We do not focus on what is in the parent's best interest or what other people want. We focus on what is best for the minor child. Therefore, if it would be in the minor child's best interest for you to have contact with your minor child on a regular basis, the court would make such an order. Because when the magistrate or the judge says, I hereby order the following, he must also say, they don't usually say that, but he should also be able to support it with a phrase stipulating, I believe it would be in the minor child's best interest, what I have said. So that's very, very important. But later on in this question, you're asking the question, I would like to have custody in the future. That is possible. Custody, I presume, where the minor child will live you primarily, and the mother would have contact maybe every second weekend, half school holidays, and so on. That is possible. And in the same breath, as I mentioned earlier on, if that would be in the minor child's best interest, obviously the court would make such an order. Therefore, focus on what is best for the minor child. But in order for us to determine what is in the minor child's best interest, we have to look at all factors, all variables. We have to look at the current situation, the mother looking after the minor child despite her being an alcoholic. We have to look at you as well, as a father. Can you care for the minor child? Your circumstances. Where do you stay? Where do you live? Where's the school of the minor child? All those factors has to be taken into consideration. We do not have any perfect parents. Nobody is perfect. If the father isn't perfect, if the mother isn't perfect, and the child is in danger, of course the minor child should be taken out of that situation and taken to foster care, or third parties have to look after the minor child. Obviously, we want to avoid that from happening as much as possible. Therefore, maybe get an attorney to assist you, go to the courts, and ultimately the court will have to listen to you and they'll have to make a decision as to what is in the minor child's best interest. Usually people have issues with courts if the courts do not find in their favor. It's always one that's the winner that's happy with the court system. Unfortunately, that's how the law works. I do not call it the winners or losers. I call it an assessment as to what is in the minor child's best interest. Here you had a third party who assessed the matter and he or she made a decision as to what is in the minor child's best interest. We have some more questions. Question number 2. I work in Canada. Do I still have guardianship rights? So remember, guardianship rights refers to the legal rights over a child. A parent can have no, or a parent has no contact rights with the minor child. He or she is not allowed to see the minor child or even speak to the minor child. No contact at all. But the parent may still have guardianship rights over the minor child, the legal rights. For argument's sake, should the minor child need to be enrolled into a school, apply for a passport, visit overseas, legal stuff. Although the parent is not allowed to see the child, that parent must still be consulted when it comes to those specific important decisions like guardianship issues, legal issues. So that's guardianship as opposed to custody, contact, access and those things. The mother of my 7-year-old daughter and I are divorced. Okay. I have always been involved in all decisions regarding my daughter. I moved to Canada soon after the lockdown for work and will be living here for the next 3 years. The mother now does not consult with me when it comes to my daughter's schooling or anything pertaining to her. Do I have rights? Of course you have rights. You divorce a mother, and I'm certain that the court made an order that you remain a co-holder of parental rights of guardianship, care and contact to the minor child. So that's still there. However, the difficulty we're having now is that since March or April 2020, you said soon after the lockdown, you moved to Canada. That's 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. And the mother is the one that is caring for the minor child, looking after the minor child, dealing with the minor child's day-to-day activities, while you are in Canada in a different country. Yes, you may be paying maintenance and child support. So the mother should, in terms of the court order, consult with you when it comes to these specific important decisions. But pragmatically speaking, it's sometimes very difficult for the mother to do so because you're in a different country and there could be challenges. If the parents have challenges, that's what I'm trying to say. Ideally, the mother should email the father and tell the father, you know, Dad, our daughter is now 7 years old, or 6 years old, or 5 years old. She will be attending school soon, primary school soon, or grade R, or whatever the case may be. These are the list of schools that are available, and this is how they work. Email it to the dad. The dad will have give his opinion. He can look up the schools, he can phone them, he can contact them. They can come to an agreement, and they can sit down. But ultimately, it's very difficult for the dad to make that decision because he's not the one that will be living the choices being made. In the sense of, he cannot say the child should go to a school 20 kilometers away from the minor child's home, where the mother is the one that has to travel, deal with traffic, she has to go to work, her work is most probably in a different direction where the school is. So he's sitting from the armchair in Canada, whereby he wants to decide now where the child should go to, although it's a mother that is the one who has to deal with these specific issues of the location of the school. I'm not saying he should not be consulted. He should be consulted, but he should be reasonable as well. And the mother should be reasonable as well. Because it will be improper for the mother to say, no, the minor child should go to that specific school, and it's extremely expensive school. Close location, but the parents can't afford it again. Alternatively, the child may, for example, be Jewish, for argument's sake, but now they want to send the minor child to a Catholic school. And the minor child is used to going to a Jewish school. I'm using some extreme examples here just to try to bring across my point. But the parents have to be reasonable and they have to be understanding to the logistics applicable, especially when it comes to one parent living overseas and another parent exercising these specific decisions that are being made. So my quick answer to you is simple. Yes, you have guardianship rights. And your guardianship rights should be obviously respected. especially when it comes to issues regarding, for argument's sake, relocation of the minor child, passport applications, purchasing of homes for the minor child, bonds, and so on. However, when it comes to these type of important decisions regarding schools, where one parent will have to deal with the brunt of all those things because you are overseas, if this matter goes to court, more than likely the court will side with the mom under these circumstances. But in principle, we shouldn't get to this point. There should never be an impasse. Dad might say, I prefer this school, and mom says, I want this school, and dad should give in. Or the mom says, you know, dad, you make a good point. I agree with you because we can't afford it, and that school might be good. There need to be this specific discussion, because I always say, you never find a mother and a father living in the same home together who argue over a school, taking the next person to court. They do not do that. They resolve the matter. They come to a resolution where there is an impasse. They do not take each other to court. That's what I'm going to. So it's important to look at the matter from that specific point of view. Is this matter an issue that, had the parents been living together, would they have fought on the specific issue? Dad wants school A and mom wants school B. Are they to fight over this issue, take each other to court, although they live in the same room? No, they won't do that. They would resolve this issue. So my advice to you, Dad, yes, you have obviously your guardianship parental rights. If the mother is totally being unreasonable and you feel the mother is now acting totally out of course, then of course under those circumstances you can enforce your guardianship rights, and a court of law can enforce it for you. And if it is in a minor child's best interest for the court to follow your specific view on what is in a minor child's best interest, the court would make such an order. The third question goes as follows. I have two issues. One, a passport application, and the other, urgent contact. My son is 16 years old. I want him to travel with me to India to visit my family, as he never met them. The mother refuses, and he does not have a passport. What can I do? So there's two issues. Number one, if the child does not have a passport, the traveling will not take place, number one. And number two is because it's the minor child leaving the Republic of South Africa, both parents or both guardians have to give consent for that. So that's a factual thing. The father does not have a passport for the minor child, or the minor child does not have a passport, and the father does not have the consent of the mother to travel with the minor child to India. Long story short, sir, you can try to mediate this matter, but time is running out. Alternatively, you have to approach the court, and the court will have to make that decision. And the High Court in this specific scenario, the High Court will have to look at the entire case. Your reasons for wanting to visit India, the mother's reasons for not wanting the minor child to visit India. Your reasons would of course be very good reasons. I want the minor child to experience the culture, to meet his family there, and to travel. And there's an opportunity for him to now, get out of South Africa. Why not? He's lucky to go visit overseas. The mother's argument might be, no, the child is quite young. I do not know. He's stable in South Africa. He knows South Africa very well. It's dangerous for him to travel. COVID-19, all those specific things. It will affect his schooling. Whatever the case may be, the father might not return. But then the Hague Convention kicks in. But nonetheless, those will be the reasons the mother will obviously present to the court. And ultimately, the court will make a decision. More than likely, 9 out of 10 times, the court will make an order with the provision that the minor child should return at the end of the holiday period. And if the minor child does not return, then of course a crime has been committed because there has been a violation of a court order, and then various other international laws and ramifications will apply. I hope that answered all your questions. Thank you very much for those questions. Have a lovely day, and I hope to see you online again soon.